What do you think about Saudi player, and what's your opinion for Saudi player to become more professional and level up?
Yeah, it's a controversial topic, but it's one I think it's important to talk about publicly and not to just, kind of hide under the table. We have a few problems in Saudi Arabia. There are problems of talent development, but there's a work ethic issue that we found in some Saudi players. They, maybe they're last into the building. They're the first to leave the building. The nutrition that they, ingest is not great. You see them out at midnight drinking coffee. And I think they just don't have an overall true understanding of what it is to be a professional athlete and the sacrifices required to be a professional athlete. It's true. I mean, I was a top rower in college. I had to go to bed at 9 p.m. every night and get up at 4 a.m. for rowing. I mean, it was painful, but I thought it was worth it. It's up to them to make a decision. Do they really want to be their best possible self? But part of that is this work ethic. And so in order to change that, we have to start young. We have to start in our academies, teaching them from day one. This is how you eat. This is how you sleep. This is how you train. This is how you compete. I think we have to get rid of things like, for instance, win bonuses. A lot of times in Saudi Arabia, when a team wins or the national team wins, every player gets a huge check. I think that disincentivizes them because, again, they get rich very quickly and they spend that money maybe frivolously. I want to see Saudi players kind of treated as international players are treated on their own national teams. I think we're going to have to send some Saudi players abroad to kind of continuously increase that understanding of what it is like for work ethic outside of Saudi Arabia and training standards. The good news for a club like ours is we can send our players to Hadith or some of the other clubs we'll buy in the future, and they will be done very organically, so they can really learn what it's like to play at the highest levels of Europe or elsewhere. So I think that Saudi Arabia has huge potential because the men here and the women here come from kind of, African stock. They're strong, they're athletic, but they're also very smart. And so you have that perfect combination. You look at a country like Morocco. There's no real reason for Morocco to be much better than Saudi Arabia, but you look how well they're doing, in national level play, right? Or at the World Cup, or how many Moroccan players are playing at top teams in, the Champions League in Europe right now. And I think some of that is Morocco doesn't have the resources of Saudi Arabia. They don't have the kind of entitlements and comforts of Saudi Arabia. And so their players know it's life or death. Either I work my butt off every day to achieve the highest possible level of performance, or I am living, in very challenging economic conditions. And so that urgency and drive, I think, is so critical. And so we have to try to instill that in our Saudi players, because if we can, then they can be at the same level of any of the best clubs in North Africa or Middle East, be it Morocco, Egypt, etc. And even better, because if you have that drive plus the resources that Saudi Arabia has to put together great training centers and, coaching and other things for the national team, the sky's the limit.